Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Podcast, the place to catch up on all the regional and national rugby in Wales. You can find us on all the usual social media platforms and message us through there if you want, or you can email us on welshregionalrugbypod@gmail.com. So all the boring stuff out the way, let's talk rugby.
Hello and welcome to the Rap Podcast. My name is Jamie and I'm joined today by Reese and Lee. How are you, gentlemen?
Very well, thank you, James. Very well.
Yeah, absolutely.
There he is. I was wondering where you was. Yeah, you're still with us. That's great. We are. Sorry, go on.
So I say only just. This is why we don't do it on YouTube, because my camera's a bag of shit. So.
Right, of course.
Once we've sorted out my computer and various other bits, we'll probably do YouTube again. That'll be cool.
Yeah, this is how professional we are on this podcast. Good start. So we are previewing France v Wales, and we have a very special guest with us this evening. Please welcome French rugby expert James Harrington. How are you, James?
Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me on. I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. And well, look, let's just start with the only place we can start: Twickenham. I mean, look, I'm just going to say it, right? I have nothing against England. I've got family, I got friends, we're all English, and, I got great respect. But, wasn't it wonderful? It was absolutely wonderful. I enjoyed every single minute of it. I'm not going to lie. And I'm sorry, James, I know you're English and what have you, but how good was it? To see France in full flow like that, I mean, it was just absolutely glorious. What did you make of it, James, of that game and just everything about it?
It was absolutely astonishing, wasn't it? It was. When a French rugby legend like Pierre Villepreux says that it was the best performance ever by a French team ever, then you know the level that we're talking about here. It was a quite remarkable performance. My 12-year-old is he plays rugby for the local team, and he absolutely loves the idea of one day being a France player. And he was just cackling away like I don't know what. It was remarkable, an astonishing performance from minute 2 to minute 80. There's nothing else you can really say about it.
It was a work of art, wasn't it? Like it was, in every facet of the game, sort of thing. Like from that Ramos try at the start right the way through. Like it was just. It's hard to say but I guess tonight we're going to break it down.
Well, I thought England were in the game for a period of time, and then they kicked off, and after that, it kind of went downhill then, didn't it? And I take issue with your I respect England, Jamie, because yeah.
No, I do. I absolutely do. I got English family and friends. I lived in England for 8 years. I do, I have a lot of respect for English, but I'm not going to lie, it was bloody brilliant. I enjoyed it.
It was awesome.
How could you not enjoy it? Well, unless you're English, obviously, then you clearly won't. But it was just fantastic, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
My grandfather is he's from Nottingham, and he's usually the first one on the phone when England beat Wales, sort of thing. Like, he wouldn't answer the phone to me.
I got a text from my dad. Just said, "Oh dear."
Yeah. That's all you need. That's all you need to do.
But yeah, I mean.
Oh, so go on, James.
I was just going to say that it's kind of where France are now. They've played dispossession for a long time, and Galtier started talking before the November internationals about a new phase of play for France, and he called it dispossession repossession, and that's what they've been sort of working on. They didn't do it in November. They stuck very rigidly to their dispossession game plan in November, and it nearly backfired on them. But they've been working on this new idea of spotting, of being able to see what's going on faster, and playing more attacking rugby, more. It's lazy to say it heads up, but it's that sort of thing. It's heads up rugby, and they've been tried it. They tried it out against Italy. It didn't work. They tried it out against Ireland, and they got caught out. Against Ireland. They tried playing far too much in their own 22, in their own half. They tried it against Scotland and got away with it. England at Twickenham, a match they really needed to win. They've been playing sort of 60-70%. For the first three matches. They really needed to put it on for that. They got to 90-95%, and they got the dispossession repossession game plan off nearly to a T. If they can do that consistently over the next until October, they've got a serious shout of lifting the trophy at the end of the World Cup.
Absolutely, and on home turf, it's difficult to go against them, isn't it? But I saw a stat today, and I don't know why, it just shocked me. That was France's first win at Twickenham for 18 years. I can't believe it.
Yeah, first win in Six Nations. Yeah, my daughter was born the year they were last won at Twickenham. It's quite astonishing, really.
So 2005, isn't it? That's the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. My goodness, it was a long time ago, but fair play to France, it was brilliant. And, it's hard to pick out one player, isn't it? Because I thought they were all terrific. Flamant was great, Paul Williams, Cross, Ficou. I love Gail Ficou, he's great. Ramos, the fullback, is terrific. But I think the player that stood out for me, I gotta say, was Jonathan Dante on his return to international rugby, since November. Oh, he was terrific. He really does make this French team gel, doesn't he, James? He's such a terrific player.
He's superb. He's like a spare wing forward, just in midfield. I mean, him and Ficou working together are just quite remarkable. Arguably the best centre partnership in the Northern Hemisphere on their day. But yeah, Dante brings so much more than. I mean, he's a big fella. He's a super tackler. He's a brilliant jackler. That's all his loose forward stuff. But he's so clever as well, and he knows exactly where to be at exactly the right time, whether in defence or in attack, and he will get you ball and he will make things happen. His renaissance when he moved from Stade Francais to La Rochelle, and then he's picked up again by the French team. It's been remarkable and thoroughly deserved.
Absolutely. Do you want to come in with anything, Davies?
Yeah. I guess with how much it was definitely the French clicking, wasn't it? As you said, they've been trying to put this game plan together over certain matches. How much was it them clicking, and how much was it the performance that England put in as well?
England didn't help themselves. England were poor. No one can pretend otherwise. But part of the reason I think they were poor is because they weren't allowed to be good.
They weren't allowed to play.
10 minutes in, when you're already on to plan G, when plans A through to F have gone horribly wrong, you're going to have a bad day. And when things start going wrong that fast, things start going wrong at an exponential rate, and just suddenly everything went wrong. Everything England tried went wrong, and everything France tried almost inevitably went right, or at least right enough so that they got 7 tries. Scored it. I think the stat I saw, which was quite remarkable, they scored 4.2 points for every time they got into England's 22, which is a ridiculous rate of scoring.
That's clinical, isn't it?
it's scary.
Insane. But I mean, England were pulled out of shape left, right, and centre. They looked lumpen and slow compared to France. The idea that you can now basically run France ragged and you'll beat them in the last 20 because you've knackered them out, forget that. France are as fit as any side, short perhaps of South Africa and New Zealand and Ireland. We've got to give Ireland their credit. They're incredibly fit side and an incredibly well organised side.
Mm-hmm. Did you see the comments from Imanol Haradoki today? I saw Chris Jones tweeted it. He said, the English were really catastrophic. They are one of the weakest teams in England that I have ever seen. That's pretty damning, isn't it?
Yeah, he's good for a soundbite, is Imanol Haradoki. But he was absolutely right. They were poor. And for all that I've just said that they were poor because they weren't allowed to be good, they didn't help themselves at all. Their game management was dismal from kickoff, and
it went downhill.
It
was poor, and then it went downhill.
Yeah. But you play that badly, you should get beaten badly.
But can France then take anything out of that, James? Given that England were that poor, I mean, it's almost like a training session at some points. Where Ramos has tried, where it was just like England didn't touch the ball, they kicked the ball and they just ran it back. Do you know what I mean? It became a bit like a training session. Can France take anything out of that game? Was it too easy in a way?
They can take a lot out of that game. Since Galtier took charge at the beginning of the 2026 Nations, France have kind of broken a lot of hoodoos. They ended their losing streak in Edinburgh. They ended their losing streak in Cardiff. They ended their losing streak in Dublin. They won for the first time in Australia in 30-odd years. They won a Grand Slam. But the one thing they'd not done until Saturday was win at Twickenham. So that there was a big hoodoo left. It was the one place that Galtier had not won at, and he said himself afterwards that to beat England at Twickenham is always a big thing. No matter whether to do it with a performance like that is unusual. But he said the important thing is to beat England in England, and he said he admitted, he said it was a special moment, and he had not had many of them at Twickenham, and his career was decent enough as a player, and he was I don't know if you saw the French TV interview with him afterwards. It was posted on social media. He was moved to tears by what he was
crying, wasn't he? Yeah, he saw that.
Yeah, he was really, really emotional about it because it meant so much to him to break this 18-year hoodoo. So he's done that. I think the level of performance, you can't take that away from France, despite they don't dictate who they play or how they play or how their opponent plays. They can only dictate what they do. And I mean, they played so well that any side I think would have struggled against France on the performance.
Well, that day,
on Saturday.
sure.
Any side,
yeah.
That's what worries us.
I think they could have beaten anybody with that performance.
Yeah, I agree.
So they take that, they take the positives, but they also remember that it was only 4 years ago they got hammered 44-8 at Twickenham. And looked really out of sorts. So they're taking the positive, but they're also remembering that this too shall pass. This too can change, and in 4 years' time, who knows? So they've got to keep working. They've got to keep developing. This is a stepping stone on the route. Wales are the next stepping stone. Then they've got 4 matches in the summer, and then it's the World Cup, and then it starts all over again for the World Cup in Australia in 2027.
Who do France play in this summer?
Scotland, Australia. I think they've got Scotland twice, Australia, and I can't remember the other one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Might be us. we might be that significant that France just don't worry about playing us anymore.
Did you see the Welsh game?
I did. I thought Wales played better than I had expected them to play.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see. I was surprised with the selection. I was surprised with his with Gatland's selection that it dropping bigger seemed a big thing to me. But I was impressed at the way they kept Italy quiet when Italy didn't want to be quiet.
Yeah.
And they basically silenced them and just took all the wind out of some fairly billowy Italian sails, and just kept up the pressure. I was quietly impressed, certainly after the tournament so far, which hasn't been that strong.
It's been a tough watch.
Can I ask you, James? Someone from the outside, what have you made of what's going on in Welsh rugby? The sexism, misogynism, the contract chaos. What have you made of it from the outside looking in, mate? Nice easy one for you.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely honest. I've seen it and I've gone, that doesn't look good. But there's been so much going on in the French game at an administrative level that I can't actually keep the two things in my head at the same time. Yeah. I mean, you've got, as you say, the misogyny, the financial. I mean, it seems to me that your problems are worse than the problems in the Welsh Rugby Union. Problems were worse than the problems in the FFR. And the problems of the FFR are bad enough, with an ex-president accused of corruption and appealing against his corruption conviction. The ex-head of the World Cup committee being booted out because for management issues and corruption, ticketing suspicions over ticketing irregularities. There's 2 new investigations have been launched by the fraud squad into the FFA recently. So there's a whole lot going on over here. I'm trying to keep an eye on that, and so the Welsh side of things just comes. It's kind of that doesn't look good, and I keep intending to have a real good route around in it, but then something happens over on France side, which is what I'm supposed to know about. So I've got to keep switching back.
It's not a good look before the World Cup starts, is it?
Their own World Cup, yeah.
No. But it's basically France good at rugby, bad at rugby administration.
But in France, you've got the pleasure of being distracted by stuff on the pitch. Over in Wales, we don't have the pleasure of being that distraction. It's just doom and gloom everywhere. So just before we crack on, James, we're just going to welcome Carwyn to the pod, because Carwyn's been having his hair and makeup done this evening, so he's obviously a little bit late to the pod. How are you, Carwyn? You all right?
I'm good. Bonsoir, James. Ça va? You're ready for next week?
Oh, he started already.
He's off already. Jesus Christ.
He's going to be late to make an impact.
Well, absolutely.
So was there anything, James, you saw in Wales that you think can trouble France? Anything there that you think, France didn't hit the button for? Is there any green shoots that we can cling to on Saturday?
Any hope at all?
I'd like to say yes.
But I'm not going
That's
to.
That's nice of you.
Don't stand a chance to it. We don't stand a chance. Oh, good grief.
In Paris, with France in the mood they're in right now, playing the rugby that they played at Twickenham, even the rugby they started playing against towards the end against Scotland, they've recovered from the monster match against Ireland, which just was nearly 50 minutes ball in play. It was a stupid levels of intensity and action. They have a plan. They know what they need to do. Ireland are go, obviously. It's the Grand Slam, the Six Nations is Ireland's to lose. They've got England in Dublin on St. Pat's weekend. Everything says Ireland. Everything says Ireland.
Who wouldn't want to be there?
Yeah, exactly. France are setting themselves up. They're working on what they're calling the most pessimistic, optimistic scenario, which is that England somehow do them a favour and beat Ireland, but Ireland get a bonus point. This means that France have to beat Wales with a bonus point and by at least 20 clear.
It's doable.
It's very doable.
That's what they're looking at.
Oh dear.
I was just looking at you, James. Sorry. Sorry, go on, mate.
I was just going to say they've been at 60-70% in the first 3 matches. They were touching 90-95% in the last one. If they hit 90 again, even if they hit 80, I think they've got a shout of doing their bit. Then they need to rely on England doing their bit, which is another thing altogether.
Yeah, I saw today, yesterday, you mentioned there's been 14 players called up to Garfia's extended squad for the Wales match. You highlighted Emmanuel Mifu. Any particular reason why? I mean, who are the players that we should expect will come into the matchday squad, or is it just for training purposes? How's it going to work?
Miafu's an interesting character. He's Australian, and he came over to
this giant.
He's 6'6" and 25 stone, something like that. He's absolutely huge.
25 stone, good grief.
Is a monstrous fella. Really nice guy. I got to speak to him. I got to speak to him before Christmas, and he's a really sweet, softly-spoken guy. But he's just. I'm not a small fella. You know, I'm 6'4", and quite big, and I was like that. It was strange.
Don't you find that's because I'm the same thing. I'm 6'3", 6'4", and quite hefty, and then you meet somebody bigger than you, and you have to stand there for a couple of minutes and just enjoy the moment and go, this is what everybody else gets. It's like finding a pair of shoes that are too big. You just got to savor that moment and enjoy it, don't you?
Oh God, yeah.
You've got to readjust.
It's strange. My lad is 12 and he's like a head taller than all his mates at school and at rugby. And then they played against a team from Montauban, I think it was. No, Issoire. So somewhere in the other. And there was this kid who was a head taller than him, and it was the strangest thing to see my boy, who was, as I say, a tall 12-year-old, to see a kid who that much taller than him is weird.
Yeah.
But yes, Miafu. He's Australian. He came over to England at the end of 2018. Or is it 2019? He did, and it sort of crossed over. That you remember when World Rugby changed its rules on eligibility? He crossed over that period. Interestingly, if he the look because the laws changed and because of COVID got involved and all the rest of it, if he'd played at the end of 2023, I think it was, if he'd managed to play by then with the previous eligibility rules, he would have been fine. He could have played.
Yeah, because he is a French citizen now, isn't he? He's done all the tests. He's passed. Yeah, he's been here 3.5 years, I think.
Yeah, he's done. As far as France is concerned, he's French. He's got his citizenship, which involves, as you say, language test, citizenship test, period of residence, and all the rest of it. So he is French as far as France is concerned, but he's not gone through. He's not finished his eligibility period. It's 5 years. As I was saying earlier, had he played in December, I think 2023, by December 2023. He would have qualified because he'd have made it under the previous 3-year rule. But France has a system in place where citizenship is a requirement, and its citizenship rules state that you have to be here for 4 or 5 years, depending on whether you're married or not, and all these language tests and stuff. So his now requirement means the requirement means he doesn't actually become eligible until after the end of the World Cup.
Shame that.
Right.
Thank God.
That might be a good thing. Yeah.
And with all the corruption in France, you couldn't find somebody to get him sorted a little bit.
Shoehorn him in.
Yeah, somebody could have signed a document somewhere, surely in the French Union. I'd have made a beeline for it.
I tell you, tight side lock stocks are really strong in France at the minute. I mean, after Willemzy and Tafifanua, they'll play this World Cup and then may be likely retire from international rugby because Willemzy's 30 now and Tafifanua's in his 30s. There's Miafu coming through. There's Pasolo Tuilangi, who was made his under-20 debut against England on last Friday. He's 18. He's Henry Tuilagi's lad.
All right.
And he's bigger.
He's massive.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to say that.
He's bigger than his dad. He's 6'5" and 150 kilograms. And he's 18.
It's not on, is it? It's just not on.
Did you see the last picture I saw of them, the Tuilangi brothers all lined up? And like Henry's like the other one looked small.
But somebody said on
like
Twitter,
a slab of Henry Tuilangi.
Yeah.
Somebody said on Twitter that that he was going to be too heavy to play professional rugby. And then somebody else went, well, you go and tell him, because I can assure you no bugger else is going to. He's a lump, and he's quick. Yeah. He's for a prop. I mean, it's just not fair. It's not fair.
Just remember my playing days. Oh, sorry. Go on, James. Sorry.
His lad is Solo is 18. He plays back row or lock, so he's quite mobile. But when he sort of runs into people, they definitely stay run into.
Yeah.
They do, yeah.
It's those choices you have as players when you see something like that coming at you, like, and you go, how much do I love the jersey?
Oh, goodness.
So realistically then on Saturday, what kind of approach are you expecting from France? Are you expecting an all-out, as a training run for the World Cup almost? Is this like the start of like you say, that the Six Nations is almost not in your hands to a certain extent? No. You're relying on what happens in Ireland. So is this the start of the World Cup warm-up, almost like an extra warm-up match?
The World Cup warm-up started against Italy in February. Everything so far has been a work up to bring in that dispossession repossession game plan. To move the way France play on from boot the ball a million miles up the field, defend like crazy, nick it and counter. They don't do that anymore. If they're more willing now to see something if they think something's on, to give it a go. It's why Ramos is at 15 and not Jaminet. He's much more of a playmaker than Jaminet is. His boot isn't as good, but he's much more likely to do. He's closer to Bowden Barrett than he is to someone like Lee Halfpenny, who's solid and will do you kick all day and always be accurate and all the rest of it. The performance against England was frankly astonishing, helped by the fact that England were poor. They'll come into Wales with a similar sort of game plan, obviously tweaked for Welsh strengths and what they see as Welsh strengths and weaknesses. I think the scrum will be more interesting than it was against. I love the scrum. I love the scrum against England. I love the way the England scrum just went backwards. I thought
beautiful, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think the scrum will be more interesting. So they'll have to deal with that. If they can go forward with Aldrit and Olivon and Cross, then they're gonna keep it simple to begin with. It was interesting how tight they kept it a lot of the time.
Yeah, they got the ability to play both games, haven't they? They can switch now. as and when they want.
Yeah. And that's what they'll do. That's what they'll seek to do. They'll seek to do it as early as they can and as often as they can. And if they get the wind in their sails early on, like they did against England, it's going to be a long day in Paris, I'm afraid.
Yeah,
so this is
going to be a battering.
I'm going to bring a bit of positivity to the Welsh cause here because I am and I always have been optimistic.
Carry on.
Yeah, if that game opens up, that could be the turning point for this Welsh team to go, look, we can do this as well. Look, we've got nothing to lose. Let's just go for it.
We have got nothing to lose.
It's a free hit
just to play.
A bunch of young players giving their all. There are tries in this Welsh team. It's just got to click, You
haven't seen it though, have we?
No, but we are building towards a World Cup. Maybe not this one, but we are building.
What about the next two World Cups?
That's the quote of the night, that is.
Mate, we're building to the fucking Tiddlywinks World Cup. No, that's the problem.
I just think, there are tries in them. They will click. They're a lot younger team now. And don't write them off just yet. Because, stranger things have happened. We've gone to France before, everyone wrote us off and we won. We came back winning. It is doable.
Bless you and your optimism, mate. Just so you can only admire it, really, can't you?
Mate, I'm an Ospreys fan. I've watched the Ospreys beat Montpellier home and away. It can be done.
Good.
Yeah, it can be done. So
I love it. Anyway, I'm actually a blind optimist, but you're an extremist. But yeah, I'm
extremist.
But is there a possibility of just being a bit too overconfident with them? You see, there's been a bit of inconsistency with them in the past, and does that come from being a bit too overconfident? I mean, I'm clutching at straws here, but
it's just a bit
The days I fear of you being able to say you don't know which France are going to turn up if you're expecting France to be overconfident. They're gone. They're over.
You ruined our night.
And where, if any, what areas, if any, with this sort of 100% nearly French side, do Wales target? What is...
With the weak points.
The weaknesses, where are the weaknesses? Do they have any, James, at all?
And until Saturday, I would have said fitness. I really would. But they looked tired after Ireland match. But let's be fair, everybody would have looked tired after the Ireland match.
That was intense.
They didn't play very well against Italy or Scotland. November they were ropey, but they really did. In November they stuck rigidly, almost religiously to this idea of the dispossession game plan. They were literally told to wind it in by the staff and said, this is the game plan you play and don't change. The staff were kind of hoping for somebody, Ntamak or Chaminade or Jalibert or Ramos, to basically at some point around 50 minutes to go fuck it, and we'll do our own thing. And they were so good they didn't. So afterwards, Laurent Lebic sat them down. The attack coach sat them down and did a PowerPoint presentation to them and said, you missed this, 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 you missed this. And we're now going to teach you how not to miss this. Then against when they got to the Six Nations, obviously they'd had a fortnight's training camp at Cap Breton in the Landes. And they really trained them hard for that. So they were tired. They were absolutely exhausted when they went to Rome to play Italy. And it showed. They kind of eased things down a bit for Ireland, but I think they were still a bit tired. And also, you've got nearly 50 minutes ball in play time against Ireland. You're going to be exhausted. And I think in all honesty, Ireland were exhausted, but Jubilation got hit that quite well. and then against Scotland, what they tried wasn't quite working, and it did. It really started to work last weekend. And as I say, I think fitness would have been an issue. They've lost Willemse for this week.
Yeah, big blow that, isn't it, James?
Yeah, that's a blow. I mean, bring in Taufi Fanua, but they've not, as far as I know, called up anyone else to come in. I mean, Taufi Fanua is an incredible player. He will likely step up and start. It's who they bring in later on. I'd be interested to see what they do with their bench, because they've started 6-2, they've moved to 5-3, and with Sekou Makalu, he's winger fast. He's winger quick. He's the quickest player in Stade Francais over 100 meters. He's super fast, and he can play.
Yeah, but what we haven't mentioned,
back wing forward of wing.
What we haven't mentioned though is the reunion between a certain Mr. Gatland and Sean Edwards. That's going to be quite interesting, isn't it?
Should be fun.
We want him back. Can we have him back, please?
Yeah, please. Oh my God.
No, we've got until 27.
Stroke.
Oh, that long is it? Oh.
Yeah, he signed a new deal. He signed a new deal earlier this year.
Oh, good luck to him.
Until after the 27 World Cup.
Yeah.
And then he'll want a head coach's job.
Yeah. Wales.
We'll see. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
He might have learned. His French might have. His French is actually. I'm not. I've been cruel to him. His French is actually pretty decent, and he gets his message across, which is the important thing.
It seems to be working, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And he's taken the trouble to learn it, and it's which is hugely appreciated by the French staff and the players. I mean, they've got Willemse, who's South African and speaks English. Thibaut Flamand, who speaks English. Antoine Dupont's English is not awful. He's not a great speaker, but his English isn't bad. And Servat speaks English. Galtier's English is passable. So they between them they get through it all. But his French is good enough to do what he needs to do.
What is the French for? Fucking smash it! Because I can imagine on a French training field, or do they just know what that is?
They just know what that is.
Yeah, probably does. Yeah.
Basically, if Sean Edwards looks cross at you, you know you've done something wrong. So
he may not say that at all. Sorry.
I remember driving past him one day. He was coming from the Vale Hotel, and I was going towards it. And the look on his face made me want to pull over immediately and just move out the
way. He's a scary guy, isn't he? I would not want to get on the wrong side of Sean Edwards. I really would.
He lives down Perpignan. He basically spends his time down Perpignan way. If he's not coaching sort of French rugby union lads, he's sitting watching the Catalans Dragons playing rugby league. And
of course, yeah. That's good. So good on him.
He seems to be enjoying it. As I say, he's signed through to 27. So
yeah, he's made a bit of a difference, James, haven't he?
Just a little bit. That's how it all started. I mean, if we go back to 2020, the 2020 season was built on his defence, and they finished second in the Six Nations, and it was all on his defence.
Yeah, well, he's doing for France what he did for Wales, and he's just a fantastic coach, and the same for the Lions. He gets his message across.
What makes him a good coach, isn't it? Is the fact that he keeps changing his game as the world game develops, isn't it? He's able to do that. Well, some coaches just get left behind.
But it's always a simple message. That's the thing. Every single time, his message is very simple. It's not overcomplicated. It's not this, and if they start doing this, then you have to do these 4 things all at the same time. It's a really simple message that he gets across, and he gets it across effectively.
Yeah, but he gets people enjoying defending.
Yeah,
it is. He did an interview a while ago, and somebody said, "What's the secret?" He said, "I love defending." I love tackling people, and I get my players to enjoy tackling people. And if that's the part of the game that you enjoy, then go and do it more. And he said, it's just once you get people enjoying defense, it's really easy to get them motivated to go and do it more. And
in fairness, if he was coaching me, I would enjoy not being shouted at him for being defended.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
He's a scary man.
Yeah. So,
but then of course, the trick is to marry that with Laurent Lebit's attack plan, and get the defense and the attack working on the transition between the two, working in harmony, and that's the bit that's really starting to work now.
Yeah.
So realistically then, James, and I know I'm going to regret asking this question, what's your score prediction? Before I ask you for your score prediction, just, dampen it down a little and go easy on us. Yeah. But realistically, what's your score prediction for Saturday?
Yeah, this is the sort of thing that comes back to haunt me all the time. I think it will be something like 38-14.
Oh,
14.
You okay there, Carwyn?
Just clarify.
What's that? Oh,
somebody's punched Carwyn.
You sound like a Dragon supporter now. It's just.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good game on Saturday. I genuinely do. The nature of Super Saturday is that people do throw it around. People do just chuck it about and all of that kind of stuff. And you kind of know where you are and whether you're competing for stuff. And yeah, my concern for Saturday is France just cut loose and just go, let's go all guns. And by half time, it might well be, time to pack up your stuff and go home, boys, because it may well be over by half time if they get it right.
I think if Wales are in the hunt at half time, it'll be a really good second half.
Yeah,
with two sides are really trying to win it.
Well, Wales are playing to be above England in the final standings, so there's incentive for anything. And
it's the positives at it again.
Yeah, I'm honestly right.
That yoga's doing you a world of good, mate. You keep going, sunshine. Well done.
Who's the guy who on Friday night said Reece Webb would have man of the match? What happened to your man of the match? Anyway, and that was after half a game.
You were pissed.
After half a game. So I'm going to make my next prediction now. Wales to score 4 tries, kick 3 conversions, no penalties, and we're going to win 26-24. There you go.
You heard it here first.
Crack.
You've heard it here
first.
Oh, it's on crack again, boys.
All right, I tell you what, I'll stick a penalty in there as well. 29-24 Wales.
Oh, crikey.
Here we go. There we go. Reece Webb coming on and playing well is basically Carwyn's my Sharks game for this season, isn't it? It's going to be bringing it back up full next season as well. Do you remember when Reece Webb?
He's already been through 6 pairs of pants, and that was just the game on Saturday. It's shocking, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on this evening.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thanks very much, James.
Thank you for having me on. It's been an absolute joy. Really, really enjoyed myself.
Oh, brilliant!
Enjoy Saturday.
We'll probably speak to you again before the World Cup, and you can remind us of Carwyn's prediction and how far away that was from reality.
I'm using my dog on a food bowl to predict the wins for the outcomes.
Fucking hell, man. James, have a really good week, mate. Enjoy the game on Saturday, and all the best for the future.
All right. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. All the best.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, James.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather, now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
So those of you that are really observant would have noticed that was an advert. And we didn't have them last week. But if you go back and listen to our old stuff now, that's all got adverts all popped in it. And there's a really good reason for that. Well, one, I need to buy a laptop with a fucking camera that works, and two, Reese needs to buy a microphone that fucking works as well. So between the lot of us, we've got to pay for that somehow, boys. And the way we've done it is we put adverts in, and what we've done is we've moved over to the Sports Social Network, which is where you can now find the pod, which is all lovely and big and shiny and sparkly and over there. So at some point, we'll all have our photos on there as well, which would be quite nice. We'll, except for Carwyn's, nobody really wants to see the photo.
I don't think any of our pictures are going to be up for...
It'd be quite a scary...
listen, I can...
we're not going to get
Photoshop a couple of things.
So, so you can now find us on the Sports Social Network and pop over to there, look under sports, look under rugby, or just search for rap as you normally would. So, lovely jubbly. That's where we are now. So let's start with some admin then, gents. Let's start with drink of the week. I'm going to go first this week because I have got a very nice warm cup of tea because I need to keep a clear head because I am finishing assignment this evening that needs to be in tomorrow, and so far I've got 2,000 words and I've done 200 words. So I'm cracking
what brand of tea is it, can I ask?
This is PG Tips.
Well, that's a good choice.
That's a good choice,
yeah.
Because this is how detailed this is. They have fully biodegradable tea bags, whereas the others have got bits of plastic in them. And I can put my PG Tips tea bags in my composter and grow my tomatoes from my PG Tips. See?
Yep. Yeah. Boring. Who else drinking what?
We've lost Carwyn.
Yeah. Go, Carwyn. What are you drinking, mate?
I'm drinking water.
Who's pouring now?
Because I'm hanging out from Saturday, and I'm on course tomorrow morning very early. So no water.
Fair enough.
You're hanging from Saturday, was it?
Fair enough. Reese, what have you got, mate? You've got to be better than me and Carwyn.
I think I was a bit embarrassed after doing the carling in the shed in the last pod.
Carling.
I would do Brewdog in the living room, so I got a punk IPA from Brewdog.
Nice.
It's better than carling. At least it's better
much better than carling. This is the good stuff, man. Like, I would feel a bit embarrassed. Like, you're always very topical, Jamie, and about either for the nation or just supporting the local brewery. Well, I'm a bit more, capital city and corporate, and I've confidence.
So what does it actually taste of? Is it like watermelon and fucking mango
and
stuff? Yeah.
Brewdog, the punk IPA is just like an IPA.
It's just a proper IPA.
Nice. But they do one called Elvis Juice, which has got grapefruit in it, and that is pucker. That is really nice. I can sink a few of them.
Okay, Jamie, what are you drinking, mate?
Well, it's fancy Wales, isn't it? So, of course, Kronenbourg 1664, boys. It's obvious, isn't it?
Mons 2.
Yeah. So, that's why I got it. Kronenbourg 1664. I haven't had this for ages. I can't remember the last time I had it. I think I had a pint. It was in London. We don't have it in our house because it gives my wife the shits. So we don't have it.
That's it.
It just does. It's not good to her. She can't deal with Kronenbourg, so I don't tend to drink it in the house.
I can't deal with Kronenbourg or Stella.
It gives you a bad belly, does it?
What?
Does it give you a bad
belly? It makes me like I'm a very jovial drunk.
Jovial drunk.
Until I drink Stella or Kronenbourg, then I get all moody. What the fuck are you looking at?
Oh, right. And you go all hip on everyone.
Yeah. At one time, like years ago, out for the Six Nations against Scotland, we murdered the Scottish side, unbeknownst to me, but at every round, my friend was buying me a Stella, and I thought it was Carwyn. So I'm down in these, and I'm getting moodier and moodier, and I find the biggest Scotsman in the whole pub, and just start shouting at him, "Yes, I chip, mate," and all stuff like this. So we thought, when we worked out what had happened, we thought, Reese is never allowed Stella again.
It can't be before Stella in the wrong hands, can it?
Yeah,
to be fair.
Absolutely. Everything else, I'm like, hey guys.
See, I'm the same on whiskey. The slightest bit of whiskey, and one, I throw up, and then two, I get really fighty. And I'm not a fighter. Carwyn will tell you there used to be 29-man brawls when we were playing, and Carwyn would be in the middle of the brawl, and I'd be sat on the side talking to my mum or my dad.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was the winger. I was way out of it.
He was the 30th man, isn't it? 29.
You were running in. Anyway, let's talk Wales Italy. Let's make it a short one. What do we think of that game on Saturday? Who wants to?
Nice to get the win.
Well, yeah, absolutely. A win's a win. No matter what everyone says, oh, Wales are going to lose, one spoon, blah blah blah. They went out there, did a job. For the first 53 minutes while Reece Webb was on the pitch, they did a job.
Oh, fucking!
And then,
I should get a bell, shouldn't I, and just go ding every time he says.
And then they reverted to type for a short while, but they stayed in it. Yeah, but I got to say, Italy were unlucky. They botched a few passes there. They could have scored some wonderful tries, and it could have been a completely different result come the end of that game.
It looked like they could go through us at will. But then it was them that kept dropping the ball or the final pass and things like that. And it was a bit worrying, how easy they were mucking up our midfield. I've read stats somewhere about Joe Hawkins and Mason Grady missing quite a few tackles. I think 12 was one that said for Hawkins.
Yeah, Hawkins has missed 12 tackles, which is the most of any player in the championship.
In total, we missed 38 tackles on Saturday.
You can't do that, can you? No.
Do that against France, where it won't be 29, 24.
Can you imagine that? This could be...
Well, we made Italy tackle us 77 times. Do you know what I mean? That's a really low number of tackles. We put in 127 tackles, and then we missed 38 on top of that. That's how much we gave Italy the ball. We just didn't play with that ball. We just went, there you go, have a run, and they did. They cut us to shreds. In the midfield, we'd said about giving youth a chance and giving the boys a go. But the danger of that is that something like that happens to Mason Grady, because he just got cut to shreds. Outside him, he got cut to shreds. And same with Joe Hawkins, they just ran through him too many times, and you got to wonder what effect that had on their confidence. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's definitely a learning curve, isn't it? And I think it'll only do them well for the future. You've got to start somewhere, start at the bottom, move and work your way up. Good luck.
I saw a stat today. It's quite a damning stat actually from Opta. And Italy made 11 line breaks against Wales, okay? Now, that's the most by any team in the Six Nations this year. And it was Italy's most against a Tier 1 nation since Opta started recording data, okay? So that is a clear indication of Italy cutting us open at will, being more creative in attack, more dangerous, but not being clinical whatsoever. And we all heard after the match, we saw Lamaro talk about execution. He kept saying execution. Italy botched so many chances.
Yeah.
And I actually think when you look at them over this tournament, I think this was the most disappointing performance for them. You could look at England at Twickenham, but they were never realistically tipped to win that game. But this was Italy's big moment on Saturday. And don't forget, everyone was tipping Italy to win pretty much. The mainstream rugby media was tipping Italy. We had Marcello on the pod. He was very confident. Barely anyone gave Wales a chance. We were completely written off. So the first thing to say is well done, Wales.
Yeah.
Because it's been a very tough time in Welsh rugby, as we all know. And they've had a lot of criticism. They've had a lot of pressure. And they responded with not just a win, but a bonus point win. And I think a lot of credit. It wasn't perfect. This was all about the result for me. It wasn't a perfect performance. Yes, we were cut open at will. Yes, we missed tackles. It wasn't perfect whatsoever. But a win is a win. And if we'd lost, that would have had major repercussions because we would have fallen out of the top 10. We would have had a significant reduced prize money. We would have had a one spoon. So I think full credit to the players. They have responded, even though it wasn't a perfect performance.
That result is going to help with confidence moving forward.
Exactly. But as for Italy, though, unfortunately, I feel bad saying this, but they did bottle it. They did bottle it. There was a lot of expectation on them. This was their moment. They will never have a better moment to beat us. And coming into this, like I said, they were heavily backed by a lot of people. They were the favourites going into this. I think the bookies gave us 1 point favourites, but pretty much everyone, the mainstream media, pundits, etc., they were all backing Italy to win. And they were very disappointing. I'm afraid to say they were very disappointing.
One thing when we spoke to Marcello, we talked about how well drilled the Italian defence was, and I thought the Italian defence was very naive in many parts of the game on Saturday. Just with simple things like Liam Williams' try, like he should have been in the stands at some point during his run, shouldn't he? And Rio, great 110% chasing he was given, isn't it? But they just seem to be a little bit clueless about how to tidy that up, So they're naive in many places, and we were able to exploit that. And it wasn't heartening. One of the scrums, the Welsh pack just shunted them backwards, sort of thing. And I thought that was very heartening for the next couple of months.
But Italy's discipline was horrendous, mate. Yeah. It wasn't just the fact that they were botching opportunities. Which, if they had a couple of really good opportunities before half-time, and I felt the half-time score didn't really reflect where Wales was, in actual fact, because if Italy had taken those chances, it would be a lot closer. And in fact, if they'd scored those numerous opportunities they had, we could have had a very different outcome and result. But Italy just kept shooting themselves in the foot. They'd knock on, or they'd be offside, or they'd cough a possession. I just think they bottled it under being big favourites, and it's not a position that they used to be in. Because if you remember the last pod, I did ask the question: how are Italy going to respond coming into this game being big favourites? And they were big favourites, and the answer is, well, they didn't respond at all, did they?
But I think Italy have got more to build on from that game than Wales have.
But their attack is better than ours.
Yeah,
I mean, if you look at their attack,
yeah. I mean,
if they were clinical, my goodness, we could have been talking about a much different outcome here. But if they were more clinical and cut out the errors,
all we're looking at maybe 3 or 4 passes go into hand, and that was a bonus point win for Italy. Do you know what I mean? That's
which will go to hands on Super Saturday.
But that's the difference is, and that's what I mean. When you look at that from an Italy point of view, I'll be honest, I agree with a lot of what the coach said after the game around the referee. I thought, every now and again, the referee gives a lot of stuff your way and you go, thank you very much. And that was our game and it happened.
Yeah, but they didn't lose because the ref, they lost that game because they were clinical.
I'm saying there was a lot of 50-50 calls that wouldn't, if it had gone the other way, you couldn't have had a complaint about them.
But they could have had a red card as well. Let's not forget Bruno was lucky that forearm to the throat. I mean, that it works 2 ways. I understand what Keenan Crowley is saying, but he needs to look at his players and ask why they didn't execute those opportunities they had.
But what I'm saying is that I think from that game, Italy are closer to being a really, really good side than Wales are.
And they are a good team. They are a good team. Yeah.
And given that backline, they did just seem to. There was one point where you had to count how many players he had on the pitch because they just seemed to. They ran a 4-on-1 outside Mason Grady on one side, and made Dyer look. Well, they skinned him. He's caught in no man's land, and it's not his fault. But they're running a 4-on-1. Then we have another ruck and another ruck. We go the other way, and fuck me, they got a 4-on-1 out that side as well. We go, how do you get that many players out there? And they just worked really, really hard. When you go back and you look at it, they worked really, really hard in midfield to make those overlaps.
But also, I think Italy can improve. There's those last passes, just the concentration, and they got between now and the World Cup. And I was going to say, it should make interesting, for their pool. And I just looked at. And it won't because they're playing New Zealand and France in the same pool. So it doesn't matter how well they're going to do now in the next few months. They're going to beat Uruguay and Namibia. They have improved.
They have improved. They have been good at. I mean, they were very good against France and Ireland. In fairness, England, they were disappointed, although they did give them a slight wobble for about 10, 15 minutes. But I think when Italy look back at this game, this is the one that they will go away from them, because this was their opportunity. And unfortunately, we all like Italy, but it does look like they're going to get another wooden spoon in this tournament.
Let's not forget
Scotland, unfortunately, in Murrayfield.
Let's not forget Italy. Rome isn't an easy place to go anymore.
No, it's not.
Teams do slip up. Then teams do have hard games there. France had a tough game at the start, and James May said, "Oh, they were tired after training for 2 weeks." Well, every team's been training for 2 weeks before they started playing. We had Ireland, and there was a few missed opportunities for us there. It wasn't as bad as everyone says it was. And Ireland are the best team in the world. So, I think obviously there's a lot of improvement for Wales to make now, and they've got the time to do that. They're going to have the time together to do that. And there's going to be 1 or 2 players coming in and out of the squad. I think Johnny Williams will come back into the squad come the World Cup. But I think there's 3 players he hasn't used yet. Gatlin for the Six Nations, Kieran Williams, Teddy Williams,
Wainwright.
Wainwright.
Yeah.
Will they feature this weekend?
I don't think they'll use Teddy at all.
No.
I think he's too small, and he's just for development. He's a very young, lock.
But then that's where Chris Shunger was last year, wasn't he? Chris Shunger was in there for the experience of being in the squad, and I don't think he was. I think he had I think he came on as sub in 1 game or whatever. But that's kind of the plan for Teddy Williams, by the looks of it, is to give him the experience so when he does come to part of that squad, he's comfortable.
I have to be honest. I did think Alan Wainwright would have seen some minutes by now. I am very surprised because at least, with Teddy, he's still a kid and he's in the climate, he's learning, he's absorbing it all in. Same with Kieran Williams. Alan Wainwright has got Test experience. He's played in the World Cup. And
I thought he would have played against Italy. I thought he was going to be selected for the Italy game.
Yeah. But what I was going to say is, am I allowed, or do you want to carry it on about Rhys Webb? Because we do have to talk about him. Because I got something to say about him, I'll be honest. I thought he was fantastic.
I reckon we give Carwyn the spot now, innit? And let him
go on then, Carwyn. Have your moment.
Have a chat about Rhys.
Well, they say, form is temporary, but class is permanent. And he showed his class on the weekend. His experience came through. He shaped the game to the way we wanted to play it. And he's played well for the Ospreys up until this point. He's got his chance and he's taken it. He played very well. His kicks were good. All right, that was a lucky bounce, but it was in the right area. So it was either going into touch, but Rio caught it for that first try. It bounced back. That could happen to anyone, but it was there. A couple of lovely box kicks. The sniping again. He was through. Set up Talupe. He put some big hits in as well. It's a big tackle. And he wasn't slow from the back of the rucks. The ball was gone. He showed his experience. He led the team around him. He led the young backs around him. And I thought he completely deserved the man of the match, regardless of what Squidge might say on Twitter and give me grief. All fun and games and all that. But no, it was great. It was great to see, and I hope he starts against France on Saturday.
What do you think of that then, Lee? What's your take on Rhys Webb? Because you're a big fan of his, aren't you?
Oh, yeah. Love him. Well, imagine him against Dupont. If Dupont makes that break, if Dupont sidesteps the prop, which is what he did, let's be honest, he sidestepped the prop, and there was nobody in the backfield, and he's got 40 meters. Is he running 20? Is Dupont going to run 20 meters and then stop and look? No. Dupont.
That's where the experience comes. Where he had the support. He had tired legs. Good luck. Yeah. He's not the only 33-year-old to have played this far into the Six Nations or into a World Cup year. You had Will Genia as well. People like that. At the moment, he is our best scrum half. Lee. I don't care what you say.
So here's the concern that I have, right, with it, and it kind of proves your point.
The concern he has is that he's not a Scarlet.
That's number one. Because I tell you what, if he signed for the Scarlets, if he signed for the Scarlets, he'd be creaming all over the screen by now.
I wouldn't, mate. He wouldn't make it in the Scarlets. So he wouldn't, because he doesn't. And that's what I was going to say about. You're right about it's his style of play, and that's the concerning bit. Is he
that winning style? Sorry, I shouldn't interrupt.
So
have you say
Italy's kick to pass ratio, was 1 kick to every 9.1 passes. Wales's kick
Oh,
ratio.
hang on now. Listen, you're going all razzly on me now.
No,
I'm not
no.
looking at the stats. I'm just looking at what he did in the game.
Okay. So Wales's kick ratio was one kick to every 2.5 passes. Yeah. That's how much we kicked the ball away, and we're back to that.
But why is he doing that? Why do you think he's doing that? Because he's under those instructions to play a certain type of game.
Yeah, and that's what concerns me. No, that's what
turning
concerns
up and
me.
going, right, I'm going to kick the ball as many times as I enjoy kicking the ball.
No,
if he could run it and play the open game, he would.
But it worked. It worked. Kicking is fine. We got to stop this notion of kicking is bad, right? If anyone just watches Squidge Rugby's video, he explains perfectly why kicking is needed in Test Rugby. I have no problem with kicking. We just got to do it well, and we got to execute it properly. And to be fair to Rhys Webb, his kicking game was spot on. It was.
But we're not going to compete at the top level with a kick to pass ratio 1-2. Yeah. For every 2 passes, we kick the ball. When you kick the ball, you automatically creating a 50-50 chance for the opposition to win that ball. Yeah. No matter where you put it, you can, if it's a contestable kick or whatever, yeah, you're giving the opposition back the ball. And that's where Italy were able to run the ball back at us and cut us to shreds. Yeah. So as good as you think,
contributed to that, mind. Let's be honest.
But that's the game that we want to play now. We're not going to play, this high skill, high tempo, fast game. We've gone back to kick, chase, pressure. Yeah, and sides have worked that out. Sides worked that out the last time Gatland was there. And we tried to evolve, and Scotland have evolved, and France have evolved. And England evolved, and they went back and then tried to evolve again. But Ireland have evolved. Ireland used to be an 80%.
Ireland kick a lot of ball, mind. Ireland do kick a lot, as do France as well. Like I say, I got no problem with the kicking, as long as it's done in a proper, good way. It's executed.
But those squads have been together longer. Those squads have been together longer than what this Welsh squad has. We've got a really relatively new young squad. Whereas the other teams have been together a lot longer and more experience.
Kicking is kicking. You're still creating a 50-50. Every time you kick that ball, yeah, you create a 50-50 chance. Yeah. And
it relies on good defense. A kicking game relies on good defense. So this is the problem we have, is that our inexperienced midfield, and Joe Hawkins and Mason Grady are for the future, but unfortunately they did get cut open quite a lot, and that is a big concern heading into France. But I've got no problem with the kicking or the kicking ratio, all that stuff. I'm not interested in that. I'm just interested in our defense, and if the kicking is good, that's fine. We just need to tighten up on it, because so many other nations kick. Like I said, France do it, New Zealand do it, Ireland do it. If Rhys Webb wants to kick like he did, that's absolutely fine. But if our defense was better, it would be a lot better, wouldn't it? But because we're getting cut open, it's difficult.
Yeah. But then you take it, so that let's assume that one lucky bounce went the other way. Yeah. So instead of attacking Italy from just outside their 22, yeah, which is where that kick was, then it's an Italy defensive line to clear. Yeah, if that ball bounces the other way instead of Rio Dyer scoring, yeah, it's a bounce the other way and Italy clear their lines. So you that last 5 or 10 minutes now, yeah, suddenly become a 2-point game and everything's a little bit more squeaky.
When you say that, they clear their lines, but then Wales get an attacking line out. Then, it's ifs and buts at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the point was, yeah, that you're outside their 22. Why the fuck are we not creating 4-on-1 overlaps like Italy were? Why are we not running 3 players through the 13 channel the way Italy were? Why are we not putting players? Yeah, we got players like Rio Dyer, we got fucking Liam Williams. Yeah, we got Zamet coming on. Yeah, we've got some really strong attacking players. Mason Grady is 6'5" and 16 stone.
Yeah? Don't forget Josh Adams as well.
Yeah, we've got those players there. We've got some of the most attacking, dynamic, aggressive players. We've got big runners. We've got hard runners. We've got fast runners. We've got evasive runners. And we're kicking the ball away. And that's my point with that pass to kick ratio. Yeah, we don't need to kick. We have got players there that can create stuff, that can do
I'd love
stuff,
to see him
can...
be creative.
One thing I'll say about that is all through the tournaments, we have been out-muscled in so many areas of the game, sort of thing. So to play a game where you want to create those 3-on-2s or what have you, you have to have ball carriers or something to take the ball up and be able to compete really well on the ground, don't you, sort of thing? And that's something we really struggle to do all tournament. Would you agree?
Which brings us to Adam Beard.
Yeah. Who had a very good game. He had that was his best game.
He's taken a lot of shit on social media. He's taken a lot.
He shouldn't have done for this weekend because, he has been disappointed in this tournament. There's no doubt about that. But this was Adam Beard's best game for Wales in a very long time. He was one of our best players. So anyone who said he was shit this weekend, they're talking bollocks.
Absolutely.
I think they're more talking about having, not necessarily him, but having big ball runners. Having 2 second rows who can. You look at what's his name, the French one, 2 tries, Flamini. Was it Flamini? The French second row.
Yeah.
The one who had 2 the one who had 2 tries. You compare him to Adam Beard, and you're like, okay, it's not even close. And he's doing the stuff in close. He is, he's rucking, he's mauling, he's in the line out. And then he's turning up, popping up outside a winger to take a fucking inside pass to score his second try. And I think that's the difference with Adam Beard, that the standard that people compare him to now is much higher than, let's say, when 10 years ago, when somebody broke through into the national team 10 years ago. Yeah, what he's doing now probably would have been, cracking performance.
He had a good game. I want to touch on something that we said in, because that's a very good point. With the kicking, I think a big part of the reason why Wales are kicking a lot, because don't forget, we're not winning the collisions. We look very underpowered against a lot of teams, and I think they're trying to avoid a set piece battle. So that's why I think they are sort of kicking a lot more, because we are struggling to get over the gain line and we are losing collisions. So I think that's a reason why they're kicking. But I think full credit, though, to Rhys Webb, going back to him. That was his first start in 6 years. Is he the future for Wales? No, he's 34. But there was a lot of hype about him. And people are saying he's going to be our starter now for the World Cup. And I'm like, let's chill our beans here now, because it was one game against Italy and he did very well. But I want to see now how he does in Paris, because that is going to be a huge test. And I think if he comes through that and does really well, then we have to have, against DuPont, then we're going to have a real good conversation about who is going to be our start tonight. But I got to say as well, because I am a big fan of this, I know you guys in the pod, we're very divided on Thomas Williams. Now, I like Thomas Williams. I still think on his day, and I stress on his day, he is the best 9 in Wales. But he has not cut the mustard in this tournament, I'm afraid. And even when he came on for Rhys Webb, he just did nothing. I was very...
Ticked the ball out on the full, didn't he? One of the first things he did, isn't
it? I'm really frustrated by it, because I do like him. But after this tournament, he needs to go back to Cardiff and start putting in some really good performances, because there is a danger now he can lose his place to Rhys Webb. And I think he's been one of the few disappointing players, as well as, I'm afraid to say, Josh Adams. I'm afraid Josh Adams is off a little. I mean, he got held up by bloody Stephen Varney, and that should have been a try. Josh Adams is one of the best finishers in world rugby. That should have been a try, and he got held up by Stephen Varney. That shouldn't happen. I think, there was all this talk about when Rio came in for Louis Rees-Zammit, and people said, Rio coming into well, why are we having a conversation about dropping Josh Adams then? Or is that just not, thinkable to do that? But I think it is, because I don't think he's been particularly good this Six Nations, Josh Adams.
He hasn't been his usual self, but he does bring that sort of defensive back three muscle that's quite good. You see about finishing, and he has been over the seasons, like for Cardiff and Wales, one of the sharpest finishes in the game, isn't he? But
he's brilliant.
He hasn't been looking for the ball, has he?
No, he hasn't. And with Rio, he is. I mean, look at his sprinting. Look how fast Rio sprinted up. When Webb kicked, Rio was gone. What I will say about Rio, yes, he's young, he will make mistakes, but he always goes looking for the ball. and he's quick and he's hungry. And I'm not really seeing that from Josh Adams. And it kills me to say because I love Josh Adams, but I think he's been one of our most underwhelming players in this tournament, I'm afraid.
So I'll tell you, the bit that I saw that was working really well is lineouts and scrums. So there were a couple of scrums that were a little bit iffy, but lineouts were pretty much. I don't think we lost a lineout, and I think we stole a couple as well, which was Beard. But we've been a bit iffy. The one lineout we lost was a wonky throw where we tried to throw it 40 meters into the middle of the pitch and it went wonky. So other than that, I thought our lineout actually massively improved, and Italy's lineout has been very good the last couple of seasons. So the one area that is definitely working well at the minute is the lineout. So where we're talking about kicking, that kind of gives you a little bit of confidence that if it's going to go into touch, then there's going to be a line out, and okay, we're doing okay in that kind of bit. I think everything else after that was okay, and I think that's the problem. Is we're okay. We're an okay side. We haven't got anything that we're exceptional at the minute. Do you know what I mean?
Sorry. I was just saying that, and I think that the last point you made, I think that's something we've all got to just accept, is we've got to keep improving and keep. It's not going to be the next game that things are going to click and we're going to be an explosive, amazing, world-beating side, is it? Like we've got to stick with some of the partnerships and things like that. What we're doing, like the line out seemed to be a lot simpler. There was a lot more front ball early on, wasn't there? And I think that helps, doesn't it? But yeah, the scrum was much improved as well. So I think against what is a very, very good international pack. But I don't think I think we've almost all got to be a bit patient, don't we, as Welsh rugby fans? You know, with these youngsters coming through and the old guard leaving.
Yeah. And they're going to make mistakes. That's what we got to remember.
Yeah,
we can all say, look how many tackles. Rio missed 5 tackles on the weekend, and Mason Grady missing tackles. Joe Hawkins. Of course they are. They're kids. They're learning. The problem is they're on the highest stage. And Test match rugby is it's just like this. It's unforgiving, isn't it? You make a mistake at Test match level, you're going to get punished for it. And these kids are going to go through difficult moments, but it's short-term pain for long-term gain, isn't it? And we got to stick with them.
Absolutely.
As difficult as it will be now, maybe this World Cup is too soon for us. Maybe we do have to just write it off. But in the future, we got some very good young talent in Wales. People rubbish Welsh rugby, but we've got some really good talent coming through. And we got to stick with them now. We got to stick with them. We got to stick with the kids. Junser as well. We got very talented youngsters. Kieran Williams will have his moment as well. I'm hoping to see Rhys Davies feature more. So there's a lot to be positive about. I know it's going to be difficult with results and the short-term pain, but I do think we have a lot to be hopeful about anyway in Welsh rugby, because the talent is there.
Well, I like what James was saying, and this is what I thought we were doing a while ago. Where you pick a format, you pick this is the way we're going to play as a national team. This is how we're going to play, and then you pick the players that are in that team. You might not necessarily pick the best 10 or the best 15, but you pick the best 15 that's going to go in your side. Like I say, many people in France will want Chamonix in that side, where actually Ramos, he's the guy that really clicks in that side. And that's the bit that I think we're kind of missing, is we don't have, I think we're stuck between styles of play. We're the only style of play that we can play that's effective is a kick, chase, pressure game. But actually, what we all want is a high skill, open, creative, exciting game. Yeah, and the two don't mix. And I think we're caught in this kind of this dichotomy that you can either do one or the other, and we can't play both games because the players that we've got who are good at the kick, chase, pressure game are not creative, exciting players that can play a wide, expansive game, and vice versa. And at some point, we're going to go, this is the style of game that we're going to play. I just don't know how close we are to choosing that style of play. Because
part of the effort problem as well, Lee, don't forget, we are chopping and changing our side every week. So Wales have made 21 changes in this tournament. 21. So it's clear to me that Gatland still doesn't know what his best team is. And we've got no cohesion, we've got no continuity. So that's another problem, isn't it? Where we don't know what our best team is. And how many changes are we going to see for this weekend in Paris? You know, I'm pretty sure are we going to see another 6-7 changes? I honestly don't know. I expect Dan Biggar's going to come back. I don't know why I got feeling they'll bring back Biggar.
Maybe this is a good thing. You know, we've got 3 games till the World Cup starts. You know, and he's come in and he's made all his changes. He's looking at everyone. You know, maybe at the start of the Six Nations, he wrote it off already and then gone, right, you know, let's work this. Let's see what we got.
He's running out of time, Carwyn. That's the problem, mate. He's running out of time. He's making all these changes and we were not settled. We are not a settled team. You know, we have not got the time now to keep on experimenting. Gatland has got to get his best 15 on the field. He's got to know in his head now where we go in and what team I'm going to put. Because at the moment, it's just too much chopping and changing. That's the thing that worries me now. And it's not Gatland's fault, but he's just generally running out of time and he doesn't know what to do. And we're just mixing and matching and hoping that we'll, you know, get the right combinations. Yeah, I mean, the midfield we're sticking with, but at the moment, it's a bit worrying, isn't it, the amount of changes we keep making.
We need a 10, don't we? Like, it looks like it's going to be Owen Williams at the moment, isn't it? But
so what did you lads think of Owen Williams then? Because I'll let you answer this before me. So do you think he should keep his place for Paris? So what have you made of his performances so far?
I think we can. He's playing okay, and Biggar is not. So I think, like, just based on form to go into an international side, I think he's got to keep his place because he's just playing okay though. He's not. So one of my friends I was watching in the pub with on Saturday was saying, like, he put it really well, but I'm paraphrasing now, and he said, like, he's a really good outside half you'd have in most sides, but he's not an international outside half. And I think that's like quite a good description of Owen Williams. What would you reckon to that? Because I think Biggar, the way he's been playing, I don't think that's a good idea against the French, at least.
Yet I can see you say that, though. You say that, Rhys. I think Biggar is the right person for this game in Paris. I think he's just the right person to bring it. I could see him thriving in a game like this.
So you're saying big game mentality.
Yeah. So you're saying Owen Williams is an international fly-off and you don't think he's test standard? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Lee, what are you saying about that?
Yeah, I'd go back to the bit about the style of play. And if we're going to play that pressure game, then yeah, I think Biggar is the man to play that. What I think Biggar will bring, I agree. I think he will come back into the side against France. Is he'll bring aggression and niggle, and he'll be in French ears, and he'll be moaning, and he'll be shouting, and he'll be winding them up.
And he can speak French.
Yeah, some of that as well. But do you know what I mean? He's a more kind of disruptive 10. And I agree with you as well, Rhys. When there's nobody there that's head and shoulders above and playing superb rugby, nobody. And I think a lot of that comes back to continuity within the regions and the turmoil within the regions and all of this stuff, and being in your regions long enough to have a run of games and all of this and you get to this part of the season and you've had some players that have only played like 8 or 9 games. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there's the, you know, our players on form, are they playing well? I think it all goes out the window, and Gatland just goes, right, we're going to play that kick chase pressure game, and we'll go from there. And
so what you're saying is we're all going for a Welsh win this weekend, is that correct?
No.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll take a little break there, and then we'll come back. We'll discuss the French game in a minute, but we're going to do Fantasy League after these messages. You see what I did there, boys?
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, so before we crack on with the French game, then let's have a quick look at Fantasy League from last week. Mainly because I won the day. And for some reason, so I sent you boys the scores on Saturday night, and then I woke up on Sunday morning. Sunday night. Woke up on Monday morning, and somehow I'd scored 40 points overnight. And I don't know how, but I definitely managed to increase my score overnight on Sunday night. So I'm still in second place. Sean is top of the tree on 2,901. I'm second on 2,800.
Jamie's 24 points ahead of me.
Woo! Fuck. Okay, we'll go down to 7th and 8th, shall we?
Yeah.
Fucking. So, Wilf's Wizards in third. Carwyn, not you, in fourth. HW92, that's Harley, in fifth.
Yep.
Jamie, is that you, Jamie, or is that another Jamie?
No, that's me.
That's you, right? So you're in sixth, just above Carwyn.
Is that your Ospreys hero, Tommy Bow? Is your picture profile there?
Yeah. I don't know why I chose him. I have no idea why I chose that picture. I like that one where he's just going.
So Jamie's on 2,520, Carwyn on 2,496, and then Reece, you're on 2,166.
Not at the bottom, though, boys. Not at the bottom.
That's because there's 10 people who didn't put a team in this week.
And 0 points.
This is what winning looks like, lads.
So
I'm not taking this league seriously at all. Not like you lot, but where I've gone wrong, unfortunately. No, that's true. I'm not taking it seriously. Where I've gone wrong is I've selected too many England players, and obviously because they were so dog shit against France, the scores are pathetic. So I had Ollie Lawrence in my midfield, fucking 7.8 he scored, and then I had Ollie Chesham there that knocked fucking 9. Max Malin's 15, pathetic.
And you're not taking it serious. You sound pretty.
I'm not taking it serious at all, but they can fuck right off. Next week, I'm getting rid of all the England players out of my side.
Yeah, me too.
They can fuck them all off.
Well, last year I did the first game, and I set up like a family league, and my wife chose a team based on they had nice names, and my daughter chose a team based on red, then blue, then green, then red, then blue, then green. And they both beat me.
Yeah. Lee, you're in 3 leagues from what I can see here. What's going on there?
Yeah, I think I'll be in. One will be my family league. One will be the general league and all that kind of stuff. But this is the one that counts. Anyway, big day on Saturday. So, France v Wales. Expectations. I think we've done the team selection.
I told you earlier, mate. Wales are going to win. They're going to surprise everyone, and they're going to win.
I love you, Carwyn. Honestly,
thanks,
me.
Let's get Carwyn's bed.
I know. I'm with it. I'm going to go with it. Right, let's go.
Let's do it.
It's loose again, nurse.
Put it up in the 30s. 33-32 to Wales. I'm going 29-24 Wales.
29-24 Wales. In Paris.
In Paris.
Yeah. The more you say things, like in Paris with the way.
Mate, it could be on Haley Park. I don't care where they play. It's 29-24 Wales.
Yeah,
I mean, we got cut open at will by Italy, and Carwyn thinks we go to Paris and win.
And now it's tarmac, fickle.
Yeah. Par de Souci. No worries.
Probably the best attacking centres in the Northern Hemisphere.
Back line.
Yeah, a set of wingers that will give fucking Usain Bolt a run for his money, and yeah. Anyway, Reece, your prediction?
Oh man, I want to go with Carwyn, but
go on, do it.
Go on, do it for a laugh. We can all laugh at you then. Go on, do it. Go with Carwyn.
I can laugh at you.
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, lad. All right. Wales 15, France 9.
Oh, I'll take that. Forwards dominated game. Love it.
Oh, my God.
No pressure, Jane.
Before we descend into reality and Jamie's prediction, so I'm going to go with 30-all. There you go.
Oh, no, you go for a draw in every single match.
If you think yours is batshit crazy, 30-all is even crazier. The idea that we would score 30 points against France in Paris is just fucking ridiculous. And the idea that we could hold them to 30 points in Paris is just as ridiculous. So, but I'm going to go with a 30-all draw.
I can't wait for the comments on Twitter, honestly.
Oh, mate.
Right, back to reality. Jamie, give us a serious prediction, mate.
Go on.
Yes, back to reality. It will be France by 30 points.
France by 30. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's
I'm so disappointed in you. I'm so disappointed. Your brain.
I'm not crack like the rest of you. I'm just,
you've come here tonight. You've come here tonight with your dragon's head on, and it's just not doing any of us any good.
I think if we hold them to 30 points, we'll be doing well. I really do. I'm really nervous. Their forwards are massive. They're quick. They're dynamic. They're aggressive. They can handle. They can fucking kick Thomas Francis and his.
And then there's the French team.
Oh, for fuck's sake! And we've got backs that are kicking the ball into our own players because they can't get out the fucking way, and they've got props that are drop kicking from the fucking 10-yard line. For God's sake, it's a different planet sometimes.
It's going to be a very long afternoon. And like I said, last week it was all about the result rather than the performance, whereas this week I'm just looking at a performance. I just want us to be competitive, but I got a horrible feeling. Let's not forget, France can, it depends what happens, in Ireland, England. But France have an outside shot of winning. And once they work out the sort of equations of what they need to do, they're going to go for it. They are absolutely going to go for it. And
which that'll lead to mistakes. That will
it could be an open game. Yeah, it could be an open game. But our attack is garbage at the moment. So I just don't see us scoring tries at will, like what you think we'll do. But we'll see. I hope I'm wrong. I hope, fair play, Carwyn. If you're right, then brilliant. But I just can't see it. No way. I can't.
Poor Will's had a hell of a time tonight, didn't he? We're attacking at will, they're cutting at will, we're fucking scoring tries at will. If I was Will, I'd fuck off home. I'd go, I'm not playing. These bastards keep picking on me.
Oh my God.
Well.
Right.
Yeah.
Gordon Bennett. Are we done, gents?
Yep.
Are we?
I think so. We've gone to the realms of unreality.
Delirium.
I've enjoyed my time.
What are you doing for Super Saturday? What's your plans? Are you going out for it, any of you, or are you have a quiet?
I'd love to, but my wife's going to be in Paris at the match, which is the match. I offered to take her for a romantic weekend in Paris, and she said, "There's no way I'm going for a romantic weekend. You'd end up watching the rugby and get drinking all day."
Well,
now she's going with the First Minister. So.
Oh,
Jesus Christ!
Here we are then.
So yeah, I was out. I had my pass on Saturday. It was my friend's birthday, so we were all out all day for those games, sort of thing. So I speak to you now from my dining room covered in boxes because we're having stuff done to the house. So I'm afraid I'm watching it at home.
Yeah, same here with the kids. Me and the kids. Yeah. Happy days.
My Guinness clock is completely screwed. I'm going to have to resort my Guinness clock because I should be doing 1 can of Guinness every 20 minutes and 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half, and then I'm fine. Well, I'm halfway through the fucking second game of the World Cup now, and it's just not doing me any favours at all, boys. It's we're going to have to reset it. But
yes.
What about you, Jane? Were you watching it?
I have a child-free weekend, and we're going to go up to London, meet up with friends, and we're going to go to an Irish bar and watch it. Get for about 11, 12, and spend all day in the pub. And I'm looking forward to it. And I just hope Wales put in a good performance.
Absolutely.
And if they don't, it don't matter because you'll be that drunk.
Yeah.
Well, as long as Ireland beat England, I live for that. And Grand Slam. Good luck to him. But, that's
absolutely.
Pub. I'll be in the pub.
as long as you're that pissed that you can listen to Carwyn's prediction and go, yeah, that's all right. That's how you know that you're absolutely fucking bollocks, mate.
Just have to retweet this pod when my prediction comes to light. That's all.
Oh, fuck, here we go. Right, on that note, gents, it is time to go very boys, and I shall wish you all a good week. Enjoy your rugby. We shall catch up again and do it again next week. All the best.
Nice one.
Cheers, lads.
No start.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the Wrap Podcast. We hope you enjoyed listening as much as we enjoyed recording it. Please do rate us and tell your friends, as it really helps us to grow and get better. We'll be back next week with more of the same, and until then, enjoy your rugby.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.